Welcome back. It is a day of celebration here at Keloland TV as we look back on 70 years being on air.
And joining us now are two of the journalists who have decades of knowledge and experience bringing you the news every day. Dexter Gronseth is our assignment editor, and Perry Groten is, of course, one of our anchors and reporters.
All right, I'm going to start with Dexter. Dexter, when did you first start here, and what was the atmosphere kind of like?
I started at the station in May of '77. And about May of '79, I moved into the newsroom. So I started as a photographer. So I just missed out on film. So it was the early video recording equipment. So you got 15 pounds on this shoulder, 15 pounds on this shoulder, you know, a 10-pound battery belt across your waist.
Yeah.
It was big and bulky back in those days.
Yeah, packing a lot of gear. Do you remember what your first story was that you've ever covered?
The one thing I still remember is when I applied for the job, they gave me this old camera. I went down by the river and was shooting video, and all of a sudden smoke started coming out of the back of the camera. And I'm like, oh no, I'm not getting this job.
Fired before I even got started. Yeah.
What was the problem?
Electrical, they said.
Well, Perry, when did you start at KELO?
I started way back in the fall of 1984, I think it is, way back then. My first day, I remember, I mean, it was just overwhelming. I came from a smaller station from Mankato, and coming here, there's just such a beehive of activity, people coming back and forth. Back in those days, the radio station was here too.
Yep,
with FM,
same building.
Had everybody in there, and it's just a matter of, you know, putting names to faces, learning how to format your scripts the right way, getting squared away with my camera gear and that kind of thing. It was just so overwhelming. My head was spinning to the point where I locked my keys in the car. And then, of course, the news director back then, Judy Grant, she's the one who hired me. She invites me to go to lunch that day, my first day, with some other staffers. And I said, I've got some errands to do. I can't make it. so I had to get, because I wanted to get the
But
key.
you eventually became a Rapid City Bureau reporter. You were out there for how many years?
Oh, boy. At least 10, 15 years, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
What have been the biggest changes you two have seen in news gathering over the years?
Well, I think for me, it's the equipment. You look at, you know, the bigger cameras back when we were doing videotape, and now you look at cameras that are less than 5 pounds. You look at our live capabilities. You know, we had the microwave trucks, then we had the big Space Link with the satellite dish on top. You know, now we're down to backpacks. We can go live from any place we want to.
Yeah, it's incredible. When I first came here, I remember the newsroom. It was so loud in the newsroom because we had old manual typewriters.
Sure, yeah.
And it was, you know, just pounding away at these keys and zip, da, 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 and people were smoking in the newsroom. It looked like a pool hall to me.
I bet it was really active in the afternoon. Everyone tried to get their stuff
because we had deadlines.
Yep.
Everybody yelling at each other from across the room and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Dexter, you played a very key role as a journalist in the courtroom for us. Talk a little bit about that.
The Supreme Court wanted to run a pilot program to bring cameras into the Supreme Court, which was pretty much unheard of.
Right.
There were several of us from KELO who went up there to meet with the justices and the building coordinator for the Capitol because they wanted to keep the integrity of the courtroom intact. So we met with them, we came to an agreement, and they just decided to go ahead with it. So the first hearing, we did a special report. We were live in the courtroom for the very first time ever, which was exciting. You know, the justices were very pleased with it.
Yeah, it had to be a little nerve-wracking because it's like we're trying to prove ourselves.
Well, yeah, and you're running a lot of equipment, you know, and long cable runs, and it was hectic. But you know, again, it worked. And then several years later, we petitioned to get cameras in the circuit courts, and after a fight, we were able to get limited coverage there as well.
Well, we're glad you worked so hard on that.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Perry, what are some of the stories that stick out the most to you throughout your career?
I have to say the single biggest spot news story would have been covering the Spencer tornado, which the anniversary is coming up pretty quickly. We were the first news crew on the scene there, and when they finally they wouldn't let media in right away because they still had to look for victims and that kind of thing. Once they let us in, I remember seeing so much devastation. This is at night still. And you could see just the houses were just mounds of sticks with kind of dust floating up from them. And I remember looking up at the night sky. It was a clear night. You could see the stars, and just thinking back just a few hours ago, just what it must have been like overhead with that tornado bearing down in that city.
Yeah, just terrifying for those residents.
Yeah, yeah.
And we still, and when you got there at night, you really didn't know the magnitude of the destruction.
Yeah, and I remember we spent the night out there in a car, and I remember getting calls from media outlets all over the country asking for updates and doing little phone interviews while we're waiting to get back into the town the next day.
Dexter, is there a story that sticks out to you?
Well, I think I have two of them. In the 80s, I was in 2 penitentiary riots. The first one with Hemmingson, where they just let us behind the bars. There were no guards with us, so we're walking through the federal wing, which was the really bad guys. And, of course, Hemmingson and I are just eating it up because this is the greatest thing ever, until we both get out and realize, oh, no, we could have been in big trouble there. And then late 80s, Jessica Armstrong and myself, we decided to pull the night shift. And about 3 o'clock in the morning, one of the guards came out, knocked on the window and said that the warden wants to talk to you. So Jessica went in, talked to him. So we were actually part of the negotiating team. We agreed to shoot each one of 230-some inmates coming back into the penitentiary. And after about 100 of them, I'm like, can you ask these guys if I can just stop? Because it looks like everything's going pretty good. And the head negotiator says, nope, you're going to stay there until all of them come in. And then, of course, Vietnam with Hemmingson and Senator Pressler.
Yeah, you guys went over to Vietnam.
The return of, I think, the remains of 23 American soldiers. The scene with all those caskets there and the flags there was just incredible. I had goosebumps the whole shoot.
That'd be overwhelming.
It was.
Yeah. Okay.
So much. We could listen to you two for hours.
Yeah.
But fortunately, you don't have to.
Yeah. Thanks,
Well,
Perry.
we know where you work.
Thanks a lot, Dexter. We'll be right back.